This time it's not a true story, but after the end of the video you are gonna pray that it never ever becomes one. But if you all do have your own real-life creepy incidents, then do not forget to share it with the Horror Vault family by sending it to the email mentioned in the description below. So without any further ado, let's start with today's storytelling. My father's health was deteriorating day by day, so I made the decision to stay beside him until he recovered. The old house, nestled in a quiet coastal town, held a sense of nostalgia and comfort. I was determined to provide my father with the care and support he needed during this challenging time. As the days turned into nights, I could feel the weight of concern pressing on my shoulders. Each passing moment seemed to stretch endlessly, filled with worry and a sense of impending dread. I would sit by my father's bedside, watching his shallow breaths and hoping for signs of improvement. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and cast a soft orange glow over the tranquil sea, I felt an inexplicable shift in the atmosphere. The air grew colder, and a shiver ran down my spine. I brushed it off as exhaustion, attributing it to the stress of taking care of my father. But then, I heard it, a faint whisper, like the echo of a distant memory. My heart raced as I strained to make out the words. It was as if someone was calling my name, their voice carried by the gentle breeze that rustled the curtains. "Michael," the voice murmured, barely audible yet undeniably present. I turned toward the window, searching for the source of the voice, but there was nothing there. The room was bathed in the soft light of the moon, and the only sound was the rhythmic lapping of the waves against the shore. Unease settled in the pit of my stomach, but I convinced myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of being accompanied by an unseen presence. Night after night, the whispers continued. I confided in my father, sharing my experiences with him. His tired eyes held a mixture of concern and understanding, as if he knew something he wasn't telling me. One particularly stormy night, as rain pounded against the windows and the wind howled through the trees, I awoke to a chilling sight. There, in the dim glow of the room's nightlight, stood a figure, a man in wet clothes, his back turned to me. My heart raced as I recognized the figure. It was the same man I had seen near the closet, his head twisted unnaturally backward, a haunting and twisted grin on his face. Fear gripped me as I realized this was no mere hallucination. I mustered the courage to speak, my voice trembling. "Who are you? What do you want?" The man remained silent, his presence a palpable manifestation of unease. And then, as suddenly as he appeared, he vanished into thin air, leaving me in a state of shock and terror. Days turned into weeks, and my father's health began to improve. Yet, the memory of that haunting figure stayed with me. My father's knowing glances and the unspoken truths weighed heavily on my mind. The following days were a mix of relief and lingering unease. My father's health continued to improve, and our routine settled back into a semblance of normalcy. Yet, the memory of that unsettling figure remained etched in my mind, a constant reminder of the inexplicable and the unknown. I found myself spending hours researching the history of our coastal town, hoping to uncover any clues that might shed light on the identity of the mysterious man. Late nights were spent poring over old records and faded photographs, searching for any mention of a similar occurrence. One evening, as I delved deeper into the archives of the local library, I stumbled upon a faded newspaper article from decades ago. The headline caught my attention: "Tragic accident claims young fisherman's life." The article recounted the details of a fishing trip gone awry, a storm that had swept a group of young friends out to sea. Among them was a man named David, who had been described as an adventurous and spirited individual. The accompanying photograph showed a group of young men, their smiles frozen in time. My heart raced as I realized that David was the same man I had seen in my father's house, the man in wet clothes with his head turned backwards. Could it be possible that his spirit still lingered, tied to the events of that fateful day? The more I dug, the more I uncovered. I learned that David had been a close friend of my father's, and they had often embarked on fishing adventures together. The tragedy had left an indelible mark on the town, a wound that had never truly healed. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I decided to confront my father about the connection between him and David. One evening, as we sat by the fireplace, I broached the subject cautiously. "Dad, I've been doing some research," I began, my voice steady despite the flutter of nerves in my chest. "I found an article about David and the fishing trip." My father's eyes met mine, a mixture of emotions flickering within their depths. He sighed, his gaze distant as he recalled the memories of his youth. "David was like a brother to me," he admitted, his voice tinged with a hint of sorrow. "We were inseparable, always seeking out new adventures. That day, that storm, it changed everything." He went on to recount the events of that tragic day, how the group of friends had been caught in a tempest that seemed to come out of nowhere. The boat had capsized, and despite their desperate efforts, they had lost David to the merciless sea. Tears welled in my father's eyes as he spoke, and I could see the pain that still lingered after all these years. He shared how he had blamed himself for not being able to save his friend, how the guilt had haunted him ever since. And then, he whispered, his voice barely audible, I started hearing his voice. At first, I thought I was losing my mind, but over time, I realized that it was David trying to reach out to me. The confession hung in the air, heavy with the weight of years of silence. My father's vulnerability and honesty were both heart-wrenching and cathartic. As the days turned into weeks, my father and I embarked on a journey of healing and closure. We visited the spot where the fishing accident had occurred, paying our respects to the memory of David and the other young men who had lost their lives that day. With each step, I could sense a shift in the atmosphere, the weight of guilt and sorrow slowly giving way to acceptance and forgiveness. The whispers that had haunted our night seemed to grow fainter, replaced by a sense of peace and resolution. Now, as I look back on those tumultuous days, I am reminded that sometimes the most chilling and unsettling experiences are the ones that lead us to confront our deepest fears and emotions. The memory of David's spirit lingers, a reminder of the enduring bonds of friendship and the unexplainable mysteries that shape our lives. And so, the story continues, a never-ending journey of discovery, healing, and the exploration of the unknown. As I share this tale with you, I invite you to ponder the profound connections that exist beyond the boundaries of time and space, and the enduring power of love and forgiveness. I hope that wouldn't make you think before you go to any beach trip. Now if you all find my videos interesting, then please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, as it helps me to stay motivated and also makes me happy to be able to create such a big family of story/real-life incident lovers. Again, for the ones who want to send me your true real-life creepy incidents so that I can share it to the Horror Vault family, then please send it to the email mentioned in the description below. So without making you all wait, let's move on to our next story. The rhythmic sound of crashing waves against the rocky shore was both soothing and eerie as I stood alone on the desolate beach. The salty breeze carried a sense of mystery, as if the sea itself held untold secrets waiting to be unveiled. It was in this tranquil yet unsettling setting that my journey began, a journey that would lead me to the heart of a chilling legend that had haunted a quiet coastal village for generations. Nestled between imposing cliffs and the vast expanse of the sea, the village seemed like a realm unto itself, isolated from the bustling world beyond. The villagers were a tight-knit community, bound by traditions and stories that had been passed down through time. It was these stories that first captured my imagination, a collection of eerie tales that spoke of the enigmatic sea whisperer. The legend spoke of beings that emerged from the depths under the moonlit night, their ethereal forms gliding through the waters as they whispered secrets to those who dared to listen. Whispers that promised knowledge beyond human comprehension, but at a steep price, their very souls. The villagers spoke of those who had vanished into the sea's embrace, drawn by the irresistible allure of the sea whisperer's haunting melody. Despite the villagers' warnings and trepidation, I was drawn deeper into the mystery. I found myself renting a quaint cottage overlooking the beach, immersing myself in the history and customs of the village. As I walked among the villagers, their glances held a mixture of curiosity and concern, as if they saw in me a reflection of their own past encounters with the sea whisperer. Days turned into weeks, and the stories began to weave themselves into my thoughts. I delved into old tomes and manuscripts, uncovering accounts of those who had encountered the sea whisperer and lived to tell the tale. Their words were a mixture of awe and terror, their descriptions painting a vivid picture of the otherworldly beings that roamed the depths. It was during one fateful stormy night, when the moon cast an eerie glow upon the water, that my curiosity reached its peak. Armed with the knowledge that driftwood was said to offer protection against the sea whisperer's allure, I ventured to the beach, clutching a piece of weathered wood in my hand. The waves crashed with an almost hypnotic rhythm, their ceaseless motion a backdrop to the unfolding events. As if summoned by an unseen force, the sea itself seemed to come alive, its waves dancing in harmony with an ethereal melody that seemed to emanate from the very depths. And then, emerging from the foamy embrace, I saw them, the sea whisperers. Their forms were both graceful and unsettling, their eyes like distant stars that held a profound sadness. As they beckoned with outstretched hands, a sense of trepidation washed over me. It was a moment of reckoning, a choice between the allure of the unknown and the instinct to preserve one's humanity. The weight of the villagers' stories and the haunting melody converged, and for a fleeting moment, I considered surrendering to the enchantment. But in that moment of hesitation, a memory surfaced, a memory of the villagers' warnings, of the tales of those who had vanished into the depths, never to return. With a surge of determination, I stepped back, clutching the driftwood in my hand, a talisman of resistance against the sea whisperer's call. Their disappointment was palpable, a wave of emotion that echoed through the night. With a final, mournful glance, they receded into the sea's embrace, leaving me standing alone on the desolate beach. The storm subsided, the melody faded, and the sea returned to its calm rhythm, as if concealing the secrets that remained just beyond reach. The village awaited my return, their eyes reflecting a mixture of relief and curiosity. I could feel the weight of their unspoken questions, their curiosity about what had transpired on that fateful night. But some secrets are meant to remain hidden, preserved in the depths of the sea's timeless abyss. As I walked away from the beach, the echoes of the haunting melody lingered in my mind, a reminder of the thin boundary that separates the known from the unknown. The sea whisperer's call had left an indelible mark, a reminder that the mysteries of the sea are vast and uncharted, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to venture into the enigmatic depths. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself haunted by the memory of that encounter with the sea whisperer. The melody still echoed in my mind, a haunting refrain that seemed to tug at my very soul. I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the legend, more to the story of those who had vanished into the sea's depths. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, I again started questioning and speaking to the eldest villagers, hoping to unearth clues that could shed light on the true nature of the sea whisperer. It was during one such conversation that I stumbled upon a thread, a forgotten tale that had been passed down through generations. The tale spoke of a young fisherman, Elias, who had vanished without a trace on a moonlit night much like the one I had encountered. He was said to have possessed an otherworldly connection to the sea, his affinity for the water unparalleled. He had been known to sing haunting melodies that seemed to blend seamlessly with the sea's own song. Elias had been the village's most skilled fisherman, revered for his ability to navigate the treacherous waters and return with bountiful catches. But his skills came at a price he was willing to pay. It was said that Elias had made a pact with the sea whisperer, trading his own humanity for unmatched mastery over the sea's depths. As I unraveled the threads of this forgotten tale, I realized that I had stumbled upon a truth that was both chilling and awe-inspiring. Elias had become one with the sea, a vessel for the ancient whispers that carried knowledge and power beyond mortal comprehension. His disappearance had been a choice, a willing sacrifice to become one with the enigmatic beings that had captivated the village for centuries. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I felt an overwhelming sense of urgency to confront the sea whisperer once more. I returned to the beach, this time with a heart heavy with purpose. The moon cast a silvery glow upon the water, and I could feel the sea whisperer's presence lingering in the air, like an electric charge before a storm. As I stepped onto the shore, I called out into the night, my voice carrying a mixture of determination and trepidation. The melody began to weave its way into the air, a response to my summons. And then, emerging from the depths, I saw them, the sea whisperers. Their eyes held a mixture of curiosity and recognition, as if they had been waiting for me. With a deep breath, I shared the tale of Elias, the fisherman who had become a part of their world. I spoke of the choices he had made, the sacrifices, and the power that had been bestowed upon him. The sea whisperers listened, their eyes never leaving mine, their presence both comforting and unsettling. And then, as if in response, they began to sing, a haunting melody that blended with the sea's own song. The sound was both beautiful and mournful, a chorus of voices that seemed to span both time and space. I closed my eyes, allowing the music to wash over me, the notes carrying with them a sense of understanding and communion. When the melody finally faded, I opened my eyes to find the sea whisperers gone, the sea once again calm and still. But in their absence, I felt a connection, a bond that transcended words and reality. I knew that I had glimpsed the true heart of the legend, that I had touched the very essence of the sea whisperer's existence. As I walked away from the beach that night, I carried with me a sense of wonder and awe. The mysteries of the sea were vast and boundless, and I had been granted a glimpse into their depths. The legend of the sea whisperer would continue to captivate the village, but I knew that I had uncovered a truth that few would ever comprehend. And so, my journey came to an end, but the echoes of that night would remain with me forever. The sea held its secrets close, its mysteries waiting to be discovered by those who dared to seek them. As I looked out at the vast expanse of water, I whispered my gratitude to the sea whisperers, for the knowledge, the connection, and the glimpse into a world beyond imagination. And with that, I stood alone on the desolate beach, a witness to the untold wonders and chilling mysteries that the sea had to offer. And that's where we come to an end, but worry not, as there are more creepy stories incoming, also not to forget the true real-life incidents that I'll reading out. So if you all want to send me your stories, then please send it to the email mentioned in the description below. Plus, if you all find my videos interesting, then do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a ton for listening, fam.